everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith. Today we're going to be unboxing another expansion for Scythe. This is called the Wind Gambit, and yes, it is a gigantic ship that is floating in air. That sounds crazy, but it's super, super cool. The first time this thing launched, this expansion launched, I should say, this was the second expansion, but the first time this thing actually launched and I saw the artwork for this, I was blown away. Just my brain kind of exploded inside. I was like, what the heck is a ship doing flying through the air? It's like a mechanical monster. And that's really what they were going for with this. As you can see from the artwork, I'll bring it up really close. You've got a full-on ship in the sky that's basically hovering above ground, flying around. So something you do not see every day. As you can see right there, it says Airship Expansion, Resolution Expansion. And the game still has the same designers and world building as before. There's also kind of a shout out to, if I'm not mistaken, there's an individual named on the front here, Kai Stark. If I'm not pronouncing the name correctly, you can shoot me later, but basically that individual, if I'm not mistaken, I remember that there was a story that someone had created some content on their own third party, and it was accepted and well liked so much that it was incorporated into the game. And what I can't remember if it's this content or it's another expansion coming up in the future. So if someone happens to know that and they want to correct me on that, I would love to know whether this was that third party creation that was kind of incorporated into this. But regardless, I heard stories of that, so I don't know how much truth there is to it or not. But again, let's get into the unboxing of this thing and see what's inside. So first off, I'm going to show you the artwork on the side of the box, which looks absolutely awesome, as all these Scythe boxes do. Looks like they got pictures being taken there, and of course, who wouldn't take a picture of a flying ship going across the mountains? I can tell you right now, in Canada, this literally, if you take the ship out of the equation, is pretty much what it looks like in my backyard in terms of the mountains and things like that. This is a fantastic pick. Like all the artwork on these boxes makes you never ever want to throw away an expansion box. Like typically there's times where I want to just take an expansion box and chuck it and just incorporate it into the base game. But they are so nice. The artwork is so well done, it almost seems like a crime to throw it out. But there you go. So here's the back of the box. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it right here. And I'm going to zoom this in so you guys can see this a little bit better. And of course, we're going to actually see it when we open it up, which will be the biggest thing. So as you can see here, these are the airships themselves, and this is their actual size. They're going to be about this big. Now I know that's kind of hard to tell, but you can see based on my hand, you know, they're decent. They're a decent size. They're really going to show up on the board. So again, there's all the different airships for all the different factions, and yes, you even get 2 airships for the 2 factions from Invaders from Afar for a total of 7. So all the colors are accounted for. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to read this section of the box right now. So mankind has long been confined to travel by land and sea, but a new technology has emerged from the greatest minds in Eastern Europa, airships. These steam-driven behemoths sail freely across the sky, aiding their empire's expansion through innovation and confrontation. As the years pass, the world has come to understand that no single faction will rise above the rest for any span of time. In the hopes of decreasing the conflict and increasing the peace, leaders of Europa begin to gather each year to declare a new way for the factions to resolve their differences. This expansion to Scythe adds 2 new modules that can be played together or separately at any player count, and with either the base game or other Scythe expansions. These modules offer more strategic options without requiring players to use them. We recommend that new players try the core game of Scythe before incorporating this expansion. And I completely agree with that. You should try Scythe as a core experience way prior to adding in any of these expansions. You don't want to overload yourself when you're first learning the game. So I'm hoping that when I'm going ahead with my showcase for this game, we're going to cover the base game solely with all this expansion talk out of the equation. And then if we have the available resources in time, I'm going to try to incorporate some understanding as to how to incorporate these expansions into your solo play. So, without further ado, we are a good chunk of time into this video. So at this particular time, we're going to actually cut into the box and take a look at what's inside. I think that's what you guys have been waiting to hear. So here we go. And of course, I want to lay this thing out so you guys can actually see it without any of the wrap on it, because it just looks so good. There we go. We'll just lay it like that. That's about as pretty much straight as you can get it, I think, just by eyeballing it. But looks absolutely phenomenal. Fantastic. So let's go ahead and take the top of the box off and see what's inside. And of course, we know there's going to be airships. Yes, airships. Oh my goodness, these things look awesome. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down so you guys can see this. I don't know if you guys can see this as well as I can. The camera's picking it up pretty good, but man, do these things look awesome. Geez, that's awesome. So we're going to take this out. Now, of course, all of these expansions for Scythe come in a really handy, all the miniatures do anyway, handy plastic tray that you can just slip right into the core box that you already have. But here you go. There is the expansion ships, or the airships, I should say, for all of the different factions, including the expansion factions, which is the purple one here and the green one right here. So we're going to take a couple of these out for sure to show you them without anything keeping them boxed in. I want to take these out and take a look at them. Oh my goodness, these things are beautiful. Okay, so that is a large miniature, and when that thing sits on the board, that is going to take up some serious space. And the coolest thing about this expansion is you think that, you know, it's a flying ship. So you're like, oh, okay, the ship sits on the table. It's flat. Kind of looks like a regular ship. Well, no, you're wrong. There's standees included in the game. Just like, they kind of remind me actually a little bit of the Imperial Assault Stormtroopers that hover above their bases. Same mentality here. Of course, I'm sure Stormtroopers had absolutely nothing to do with the thought process on these. These are airships, but I'm just comparing them for comparison's sake. So simply put the clear bar inside of the base, and then of course flip this over, you find the hole, insert it, and bam, you've got a hovering airship that you then just place on the game board. So now this thing is basically flying away. That is so cool. All right, so that's awesome. So we got all these different airships here. And again, I'm just taking a quick look at them. It looks like, if I'm not mistaken, the design of them all are the same. So I guess the only thing that I would say about them that I am a little bit surprised about is that they do look the same. Because with how unique they make the factions with all the other content that's been out for this game so far, they've always seemed to make the mechs look different. The characters, and stuff like that, the workers. Well, the workers are pretty basic, but for the most part, the unique big items or big miniatures, or most important miniatures in the game, are unique to each faction, whereas these ones are similar. So you're not going to be putting on an airship that looks any different than your buddies. And I think that's probably one spot where they could have gone to the next step and maybe created 7 different, different looking ships or airships. I think that would have been cool, just to kind of differentiate and be able to have different styles. That would have been interesting, but they are still awesome looking. So we've got ourselves a bunch of baggies, as they put in every expansion Scythe, which I always appreciate. We got some cards. I'm assuming these cards could be based on the airships, based on that symbol right there. So of course, I'm not going to be able to speak to much of this right now, but I'll show you the cards regardless, so you get an idea as to what we're looking at here. So there's one of the cards: Bombard, Bounty, Siege Engine, Distract, Espionage, not going to bother pronouncing that, Land Rush, Factory Explosion, King of the Hill, Deja Vu. See, these must be, okay, so there must be some cards mixed in here on like different ways to play. Yeah, or something like that. Maybe that's what it was referring to. Different endgame conditions, ways to maybe start and change the way the game is played. War Correspondent. That's cool. So these could be the cards they were referring to in terms of changing up the win conditions of Scythe and giving it more replayability. I don't know if it's changing up the win conditions. That's a wrong way of saying it, but it might be changing the objective of the game would be a better way to say it. So we'll have to look more into that, and you might want to research on your own to be sure. We've got the rules right here. So again, similar to the Invaders from Afar, the Wind Gambit backstory. So a nice backstory, probably talking a little bit about these airships and where they came from, what they're all about. You got your typical component breakdown there. So you got your rule book, your resolution tiles. So they're called 8 resolution tiles, or those ones. You got your airship tiles, which you haven't seen yet. Achievement sheet is in there. Oh, there's an achievement sheet. I haven't seen that yet. Automa rulebook, airship module to set up the territorial control. Doesn't look to be an overly massive rulebook, so that's good. Should be easy to incorporate this stuff. Transporting resources or workers is a big topic when you're talking about a gigantic airship, so this will cover it here. Movement over here with the core rules, other notes, and then an advanced variant at the end. Resolution module right here, errata and variance. So again, this is going back to different ways to play the game, would be my assumption, and what they added in. So what they were trying to do with this expansion, from my understanding, is not just have it be about airships, but also add in some, you know, some game-changing elements that can be chosen to add into your game of Scythe, which is pretty cool. So we got 2 more sheets here. This one here is the Automa. So this is specific to solo play, guys. This is where you can get excited. So this is going to be an introduction to that, the components, the 2 double-sided Automa cards. You can bring it in when you're playing solo, the setup for them, how to handle them, the camping, the Automa's base. You got airships. So again, this is going to give you all the rules that you need to know. And again, we may be able to cover this during my showcase and stuff like that, so we can do this during the solo thing. And then we've got an achievement sheet, and I don't know if you guys have seen this from the core game of Scythe, but there is an achievement sheet which is really fun to fill out the date, the name, and the faction of the person that happened to get a certain achievement at a certain time, and track that thing. So we got like the first winners or players with $100 plus each month, things like that. So there's different ones there. There's more on the back for the different airships. Looks like they're all very specific to airship and element achievements. So 2 airship on the back here and 1 element, and then this one is month and resolution are the 2 major columns. Oh, these are interesting. I didn't know this. So we got some actual hard tiles in here. Ooh, that's really nice. I didn't know these were going to be tiles. I thought these would be cards. So these are actual full-on tiles. That's really cool. So again, don't quote me on anything I'm about to say on these ones, because I may not be speaking to them correctly. But there you go. So I don't know if these are enhancements to the ones that came in the Invaders from Afar, or differences, because I remember Bombard, Bounty, Siege Engine, Distract from cards we just pulled, but these are looking like they're actual tiles. So that's really interesting. I have to figure out... Sorry, I didn't mean Invaders from Afar there, because this stuff isn't included in Invaders from Afar. And we got Espionage, yeah, but all these ones are all... They're really nice. Like, the artwork's just awesome. Look at the artwork all day long. What I really want right now is I want a gigantic poster in my room for... in my games room with some of this stuff on it, because it's just so nice. It's just amazing stuff. And I'm really, really excited, as I mentioned before, about this the RTS that's using the video game, actually, that they're using the artists for to create an RTS. It's just going to be awesome looking. So, a bunch of cool stuff there. And the last couple are like this. So we got Backup Plan, Doomsday Clock, Mission Impossible. These might be the scenario or objective-based changes to the game that basically allow you to maybe change up how the game is played. They have a back that looks like this. They look completely different than anything. So we got like a King of the Hill mode, Spoils of War, Factory Explosion, Land Rush. Very, very specific things. I don't know how this incorporates in just yet, guys, so I do apologize for that, but that's what this is for. It's an unboxing, so you get to see what's inside and then do some research on your own, at least until the showcase helps you out there. And I will be doing that. So that's going to cover it. That essentially is everything that comes inside of the Wind Gambit expansion. Now, there is one more expansion that I believe is yet to be released, and it's going to add, I think, some legacy aspects to Scythe and things like this I've been hearing rumors about, so that sounds really cool. Again, I'm not too sure when its release date officially is just yet, but I will absolutely be getting it, and I'm also going to be eyeing to get the collector's box, which allows me to put all this stuff into one amazing looking box instead of all these individual ones. But anyway, really happy with what I'm seeing inside this box, and really excited to eventually begin this to the table to show you guys in a showcase. So let me know in the comments below if you're excited to see Scythe. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. If it helped you see the contents, then that's really the aim of this. Thank you so much for your support as always, and I'll see you in the next episode. Keep on rolling solo.